So hello everyone, I'm Vi, I'm e-commerce marketing expert at Omnisend, and today we continue our Black Friday Cyber Monday preparation. And today's focus is on the abandonment automations. Right now is the time to fortify your email marketing infrastructure. So that's why we're covering it now in the middle of September. And also once it's November, I'm sure you'll have your hands full. So let's get prepped now so you can do other things later. So who am I again? As I said, I'm Vi. I've been in e-commerce for over 7 years, in marketing over 9 years. And I also have a degree in behavioral economics, which I think is very fitting for today's topic since it's about acknowledging that we are all irrational. And also sometimes little nudges like a timely email can impact our decisions. A couple of things to know, this session is being recorded and you will receive the recording in a couple of days. We will include the slides and all the resources that we're going to share throughout. And then if you have any questions, there's a Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. So you can drop your questions in that and I'll be pausing throughout the presentation just to check if there's anything there. And we will also have a Q&A session at the end. So, if you have any questions as we go along, drop those in there. And we also have customer support team in the chat. They're real people, so be patient, be nice, and they'll be happy to help with any questions you might have about Omnisend in general or any other things and questions. Alrighty, so let's move to the agenda. The agenda is pretty straightforward today. At first, I want us to get on the same page about email marketing automations. We're not going to stay there for long, but just make sure we're all understanding what is happening. Then we're going to dive into the abandonment flows, and we're going to focus on one in particular. And of course, as always, I bring bonus tips. So we'll have those at the end, and also we'll have a Q&A session. So again, any questions throughout the presentation, I'll be pausing, so you can drop those questions in the Q&A box. I'll make sure to come back to them. So let's go. Email marketing automation basics. As I said, this is just to get on the same page. So if you're familiar with this, just stick with us. It's going to take just a couple of minutes. So email marketing automation basics, they usually contain key elements. There's a trigger, why this automation is happening and why people are getting into that workflow. Then there's also flow action, meaning what is happening in that flow? Is there a delay? Is there a split? Some sort of setup that indicates what is happening. And then, of course, there's the message, the email, the SMS, whatever that is, it's there. And that's the automation setup. So it might go something like this. There's a trigger. Someone subscribes to your email list. Then there's an action. Maybe there's a delay. For example, wait half an hour before sending that email. Or maybe there is no action and we send it straight away, which technically is an action. Then we have a message. What are we telling that person? And then it could go on and on and on. There's an action, maybe delay, a split, A/B test. There's a message. And then finally, there's an exit or the end of the flow. So triggers is what starts the automation flow. And there are exit conditions, which could be technically classified as triggers. So as you can see in these slides, the trigger could be added product to cart. And then exit conditions are also a trigger for that flow. There's place order or started checkout. Then flow actions, these are delay. So maybe we're delaying the message a day, half an hour, whatever we set that to be. Then there are splits. So as you can see in the example, there might be conditions that, hey, if this person did this and fits this condition, then they go into this flow. And if they don't, then they go here. And then again, this can go indefinitely. We're just creating more conditions there. There's also tags, which I think is quite an underutilized feature that technically is just adding extra information to the contact for more personalization. So it could be if you have a promotion and someone opened the first email and interacted with it, maybe you want to tag them as very interested in this product. Etc. Maybe for the Black Friday, since we're going into this topic, you want to tag people who first purchased with you during Black Friday And you might want to create different post-purchase campaigns for them. Maybe you want to find another way to nurture them because we don't know how they actually found you. Maybe they were looking for discounts, or maybe they're eyeing you for a while. So we'll look into tags. Don't overlook them. It's a good source of information to build your customer profiles there. And then we have messages. So we have emails, SMS, and push notifications there. And these are the basics. There's absolutely no need to overcomplicate things, especially if you're a smaller team or a solo team as well. And the good news is that we have a template library. Over the years, we piled up the best practices in email and SMS marketing. We built templates. So all you need to do is go into your Omnisend account, into automation, and then just browse the library. Maybe you'll find some inspiration. Maybe after today, you identify some gaps and you can go straight into it. And setting up a workflow will literally take you 5 minutes. And I'll share some extra tips to make sure it's only 5 minutes to set up a workflow. So again, you can go into your account, check out the library. And the best thing is you don't need to activate any of these automations. You can just browse, experiment, setting up different flows, but never activate it. Get comfortable with it, and then you can try it out. And then one last thing before we move on into the automation workflows is the store visitor path to the first order. Because during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, it's most likely we're going to get lots of new first-time buyers from us. So usually their path looks like this to the first order. They subscribe to your marketing. They view a product. They add it to cart. They start at checkout. And they place an order. Simple, right? But we all know that it's not how it works. It's not that linear. And that's why we're talking about it today. So we're going to dive into the abandonment flows. And we are focusing on them because, again, leading up to Black Friday, you should expect an increase in abandonments on your store. And that's a good thing. That's an opportunity, and use it to your advantage. Don't freak out by seeing those big numbers. It's all good. We got you covered there. So what is happening? According to even Shopify's own data, average Black Friday, Cyber Monday abandonment rate goes up by 7 to 12%. So again, totally normal. But the good news is that abandonment emails get opened. According to our own data at Omnisend, abandoned product flows, abandoned product emails, they get an open rate of almost 45%, and click-to conversion is about 17%, meaning of all the people that open that email, 17% are likely to convert. And this is just abandoned product, meaning the people have just barely considered it, all right? And then we have abandoned cart, which has an open rate of almost 42%, and click-to conversion, that is almost 42%. So it's okay that we're getting those abandoned carts. We'll share how to utilize them. Let me just check the Q&A. Alrighty, we'll answer a couple of questions shortly. Thank you so much for asking them. Again, there's a Q&A tab. You can drop your questions in there, and then either I or my team in the chat will answer those shortly. Alrighty, so let's move into the forgotten gem. And I'm really excited about this. I will never shut up talking about it. And it's the product abandonment flow. So this is an automation that is 2 times less popular than abandoned checkout. However, they both generate about the same amount of revenue. And it gets triggered when your store visitor browses a product and then leaves without adding anything to cart. And you're probably thinking, okay, well, if I have abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, I have campaigns happening, will I not spam my customer with all of these? And I'll show you shortly how a technical setup to prevent it. But leading up to Black Friday, I think it's a great opportunity to implement this flow because people start browsing. They start shopping for good deals. They're putting lists, at least in their heads. And I think it's such a good opportunity to try this flow, especially with if you've never had it before. One of the best advice that I can give you on this is adding a product title in the subject line which I think is such important personalization, because again, there's so much prepping and shopping happening in minds, like pre-shopping actually, that it's good to remind what the person has browsed in your store. And what you can also do is you can adapt the subject line to reflect that, hey, it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, there's a special discount that will not happen again until next year, so why don't you take advantage of it? And a pro tip here as well is to include a push notification in the automation, because sometimes it could be all it takes, especially leading up to Black Friday. Because people might have like 5 tabs open, 10, 20 tabs open. And, as long as they don't close the browsing session, they can get a push notification from you if they opted in. And you can just kind of like lean into that Black Friday again. Be like, hey, you browse it. Did you like that product? We have it. Why don't you come back and take another look and take good use of this offer that we have for you? So here's the technical setup that you can try out. And of course, this is an example, so you can adapt it to your business. So first of all, someone has viewed a specific product and we're making sure that the product is in stock. It's so important to double check in this technical setup that the product status is in stock. Because imagine the frustration your customer might have if they just browse something, maybe they even opted in to be notified when that's back in stock, and then suddenly they get an email saying, hey, you liked it, why don't you come back and take another look? So we're making sure that the product is in stock. Then a good frequency is that you can skip contacts who have already been in this automation in the last 7 days. So if they've already been in this flow in the past 7 days, then they can skip this. And there's another setting that I really recommend utilizing is skip contacts who are currently in or have recently completed other automations. So the workflows that I recommend you select are the ones that have high purchase intent and high frequency automations. So welcome series, abandoned cart, those are high purchase intent flows. And post-purchase, I would hope that has high frequency emails, because we're taking care of those customers. Alrighty, I'm gonna check the Q&A tab before we move on to another automation. Thank you so much, team, for answering the questions. One of the questions that Rebecca has is, should you have this automation set up all year or just during the sale period? I personally like to have this set up all year and then just watch the numbers and the feedback, okay? But again, if you set these technical setups right, then you will never be spamming your people. So I would say all year round. If you don't feel that comfortable, run it for Black Friday. See if there's any feedback, and then decide for yourself whether that was worth it. Did it bring you revenue? If there are any complaints, maybe you can just make small adjustments, or maybe everything will go smoothly and then you can run it all year round. There's another question. The product abandonment flow is the product abandonment flow the same as browse abandonment? There are 2 different automations there, and we have templates for both. So the product abandonment flow is when someone browses your product, the product page. And then browse abandonment is when someone comes into your website, but they're not browsing any products. They don't make it to a cart. They don't make it to checkout. Alrighty, let me just check. Thank you so much, Ira, for answering those. Alrighty. And yes, you will receive this deck in the recap email, so you can go through this at your own pace. And then if you have any questions about these automations, if there's still something unclear, you can also contact our customer support. They are available 24/7, and they'll be happy to guide you. There's a question from Lars. How do you get browsers' email address? So they have to be a subscriber to your email list, and then we use cookies to identify them. So if we have those cookies and information, we can send them the email. Same with product abandonment flows. If we have their email address, they must be your subscribers, then we can use cookies to send them the email address. Fantastic. We will move on. So we're going to talk about abandoned cart flow, and we're going to spend quite a bit of time here because this is probably the most important flow to set up before Black Friday. So if you're thinking, where do I begin? There's so much. Why is just talking? This is the automation that I would start with. So abandoned cart, the trigger here is that someone visits your store, they add a product or products to their cart, and they leave your store. So if you're looking at the funnel as in the image, we can see that, hey, they subscribed to your marketing, they viewed a product, added to cart, and boom, something happened. They haven't purchased from you. And shopping cart abandonment isn't just a metric. It is a direct indicator of friction in your customer journey. And the other day, I saw this post from Jimmy Kim, our dear friend at Omnisend, and I really agree with what he said. And it was something like, we rush to give out discounts in our automation flows, but if the price was the only objection, then people wouldn't have added the item to their cart. So yes, there are exceptions, etc., but I think fundamentally, if there's not even a tiny bit of intent of buying, then people wouldn't add it to their carts. And most likely, they wouldn't leave their emails as well. So let's take a look at what other friction points there might be before we dive into the technicalities and tips about abandoned cart automations. So top cart abandonment reasons and solutions based on some research out there. So first of all is in no particular order. So unexpected costs revealed at checkout. And I think this is probably number one reason in itself that imagine you're shopping, you're adding items to cart, and then once you make it that, boom, you're slapped with additional taxes, extra shipping fees. That's not great. And that's when most people bounce. So be transparent with all costs and offer shipping incentives as well. A good tactic, which seems so basic, is to display a banner with a free shipping threshold. So maybe you offer free shipping if someone hits $70. So make sure it's visible everywhere. Or maybe you offer free shipping by default. So make sure you are showing that everywhere as well. So there's always upfront costs and people can prepare themselves before they get to cart what to expect. And a pro tip here as well, if you have thresholds for free shipping, then in your automation, you can use that split to guide people whose cart already meets the free shipping requirements. So you can send them a message being like, hey, you qualify for free shipping, and send them down that abandoned cart flow. And if someone's below that threshold, you can also leverage this and be like, hey, you're so close to getting free shipping. And that will incentivize them to add more items to their cart and increase their order value. And coming up Black Friday and Cyber Monday, free shipping will play a really big role. So consider it either really advertising that you offer either free shipping by default or what thresholds need to be met in order to get free shipping. Another reason is that people drop off because there's a forced account creation. Now I'm seeing less and less of this. So I'm very happy about it. But there is that split when I'm a business owner or I'm a marketer. I want all the data. I want to track my people and I want those customers and their data and all of that. But if I'm a customer, then no, I wouldn't want to create an account, especially if it's my first order. So what I recommend is create a prominent guest checkout option. Make sure people know that there's no need to create an account, but there is an option. And most importantly, if I'm being tactical about this, then I'll make sure that in my post-purchase automation, I do include an incentive for that person to create an account. Meaning they already had a good experience with us, hopefully. And then I can invite them to, hey, you shop with us. Why don't you create an account? Maybe you have loyalty points. Maybe you have other incentives. So put it in the post-purchase, because our goal is to get that first sale, introduce ourselves to that person, and then we can invite them to create an account with us. Another reason is a long and complicated checkout process. And there could be various reasons why it's lengthy. Maybe you need specific information, or maybe selling something really tailored. But if you're selling, let's say, common goods, something that doesn't require anything else than billing information, shipping information, then your checkout shouldn't be complicated. So consider any additional fields beyond payment and shipping information as friction. So just triple check if there are no extra steps that are mandatory right now, but they're actually not, and just simplify it for your customers. And also, there is data indicating that during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, people are using their mobiles even more to do their shopping and for browsing as well. So make sure your cart and checkout experiences, they're optimized for mobile. So that will put you in that mindset of making it very seamless, very straightforward, and then you're guiding those people through that checkout that is very quick and smooth. Another reason is slow delivery estimates and limited shipping options. And this used to be one of my biggest pain points when I was running e-commerce businesses, because now I have to figure out the deadlines with my couriers, with the shipping options I have. Maybe I want to introduce additional shipping options just for this season. So be very strategic. Right now is September. You still have time to figure it out, but do not leave it up to chance, and make sure you have the cutoff times clearly listed on your website as well. So you can also use this to your advantage. And I'll show you an example. This is from Mother's Day, but I think this is replicable throughout any big sales, any specific occasions that might be applicable to your business as well. So what the Don't Buy Her Flowers do for Mother's Day, they send out campaigns and they plaster this all over their website, the cutoff times. So they have clear information for customer about the dates and options for shipping. Then you do the planning for them. So Black Friday is that kind of middle ground where people are shopping for themselves, but majority is also doing festive shopping as well. So you can share this information and plan it for them. Just tell them, hey, make sure you order by then. Maybe tell them the offer is going to be valid, but we cannot guarantee that the stock is going to last. And then just highlight how prices or availability changes over time to build urgency. So something that is a little bit counterintuitive, and I think it's not a very pleasant thing to do, is to tell people that you will have to charge more for express shipping. But that's just the reality of it. But that is kind of the improvisation principle, where you can say, yes, we can do express shipping and it will cost you this. Or we can do this and it will cost you this and you will receive it by this time. So I'm sure that any business can find these cutoff times, and then you can start planning it now and be helpful to your customer. All right, we're going to dive into the anatomy of abandoned cart automation. And I just want to check if we have any questions, or maybe you have any questions now. So it's the time to type it before we move ahead. Awesome. The Q&A is clear. The chat is clear. Thank you so much, customer support team. We'll move on. Again, if you have any questions at any point, drop those in the Q&A tab and we'll make sure to answer them. So now that we know most common friction points when items are added to cart, let's move into the anatomy of abandoned cart automation. So first of all, we have the technical setup, which is crucial, but we got your back at Omnisend. So if you go into your Omnisend account, go into automation, then we have, as I said previously, we have templates ready for you. You can just click on it, go into it, make sure it makes sense to your business, to what you're selling. And this is a little example of what it could look like. And always keep this in mind. Keep it simple. You don't need to overcomplicate these flows, come up with very, people think the more settings they add and the more complicated it is, the better the workflow. Not true. Usually keeping it very simple works best. And if you have any questions about this, because maybe you're looking at it and you're like, oh my God, why? I don't know what is happening here. All good. Customer support is available 24/7. So the technical setup, make sure that you set a trigger filter. So what that means is after how long this has to be inactive to trigger this workflow. So for the abandoned cart, I would say 1 hour is a good starting point. And this is one of the most common questions, like how long do we wait for? So I would say 1 hour is a good starting point. Then the exit conditions, make sure those match the flow, but these should be preset. So customer exits this workflow when they place an order or they start a checkout. Because they must start a checkout, but then they abandon the checkout, but we'll have an automation for that as well. And then regarding frequency, when it comes to abandoned carts, I would say skip contacts who have already been in this automation in the last 7 days. Maybe leading up to Black Friday. And again, this needs to be tested. You can, I would say, experiment and do A/B tests. Maybe put it at 5 days. 5 days, but testing. If anything, 7 days is great starting point. Alrighty. Then we have the timing. Again, I already touched on it a little bit, that 1 hour is a good starting point. And the final answer is you must A/B test. There is no final answer here. But as you can see in this example, we have a brand who is testing the delay of 2 hours and 4 hours. And the one that has 2 hour delay, it has a higher open rate, but then the one that has 4 hour delay, it has a slightly higher click rate. So the final conclusion, in my opinion, should come from which brings in more revenue. That is it. But again, the rule of thumb is send the first email within an hour or 3, and then send the next email within 24 hours. Top tip, since we're talking about Black Friday, when everyone's going to be, competing for attention on another level, I would say make these times even shorter. I would start with 1 hour delay before first email, 12 hours before the second, and then maybe you have a third one, or maybe you have SMS. Then I would say follow through within 24 hours. And speaking of SMS, I highly, highly recommend you turn your abandoned cart automation into a series. So don't be afraid to add a little bit more, just because, again, leading on to Black Friday, people are going to get lots of distractions, other emails. So you're reminding about yourself. But to break that email bombardment, literally, I recommend adding SMS into your automation as well. So that will add urgency. That should make it more personal as well. Is you reaching out and them being like, hey, you forgot this. And you're on your phone, in your phones, and we're always on our phones. So inevitably, they're going to see your message. And then, experiment with the delays, experiment with what you're sending. And top tip here as well is even if you have 10, 20, 100 contacts in your phone numbers on your list, definitely send at least one SMS campaign before Black Friday, just so people don't think that you're scamming them on the day when you're sending out automation that encourages them to come back and complete the purchase. So turn your abandoned cart into a series. Then it's crafting the message. So make sure your subject lines, they're depicting urgency and they're personalized. Then make sure that the content build trust with the shopper by highlighting your USPs, so unique selling propositions like shipping. This is your opportunity to add the shipping deadlines as well. Then you can highlight the quality, your mission, other things. And also make it easy for people to contact your customer support. I think this is such an overlooked thing. Don't be afraid to make it big and loud, because as we spoke about this, people probably have other friction points why they're not purchasing and they're not completing the purchase. So give them an opportunity to contact your customer support it's your sales channel if you think about it. So always let the person know, hey, you can contact us. And especially when we have the festive shopping, because those deadlines of shipping, people shopping for other people's, they might have extra questions. So yeah, why don't you give them opportunity to contact your customer support? And this is the example. Again, keep it simple. You don't need to be clever, especially in abandoned cart emails. Show them the product they browsed, make them an offer, highlight your USPs, and voila, we're good to go. And then we're also going to link it in the chat, but I highly recommend watching our webinar where Blue Drop Studio and Omar is breaking down 6 essential workflows to have for any business. And using that blueprint, again, you can implement it before Black Friday and you're golden. You have your email marketing infrastructure laid out to build on it. Another example of crafting a message is adding Black Friday, Cyber Monday banners to your automated emails. And just plaster it everywhere because there's an offer and you want people to come and buy from you. So literally after this webinar, you can go into your automation and simply add it to your automation. You're done, or see what it will look like. You don't need to activate it. Then you'll be ready to activate it and change it maybe mid-October when you want to kick off these offers for Black Friday. And of course, the top tip here is that you can use Omnisend AI for subject lines and preheaders in your automations. So all you need to do is go into your abandoned cart automation now, and because Omnisend AI has the context of your store, of your brand's tone of voice, it has all of that. You can simply put in a prompt that says, hey, adapt the subject line to my Black Friday offer, which is that. That's it. You don't need to give a 5-paragraph prompt because the Omnisend AI already has the context. And then if you want to, maybe try another way or just make sure you're getting it right, we have our Omnisend email subject line tester, which includes the same AI option as well, and our top subject lines that we've seen outperform others. So you can go here. We're going to link it in the chat and then recap email. Just go in there and snatch all the subject lines that we know that convert and then just adapt it to your business. And then you can also get smarter writing suggestions. Again, go into your automation, go into that email, and just simply prompt the AI, hey, this is my offer. Make this header to reflect it. And then you can, maybe you'll get it the first time. Maybe I'll need to talk with the AI a little bit more. But that is simple as that. It will literally take you 15 minutes if you make yourself a coffee and you have your automation all set up for Black Friday. Before we go a little bit forward, I will check the Q&A tab. All right. Thank you so much, customer support, for covering these. Awesome. And then the final step in the anatomy of abandoned cart automations is test. Because I can be giving you all these tips, but I don't know your business. I don't know your customers. So take this with a pinch of salt and then just adapt it and test it. And we have a webinar that specifically focuses on what to test now, because we still have time. That could be very useful for your Black Friday campaigns. So don't miss out on that webinar. We're going to link it in the chat and the recap email as well. And my personal tip, which is not just for Black Friday, but I find it to be very useful for my clients and when I worked in e-commerce as well, split your abandoned cart flows by purchase history. So you would essentially have, let's say, 3 splits. It would be your non-purchases, so people who have subscribed to your emails and then they subscribed to your emails, they added something to cart and they left. So they haven't bought from you yet. They don't really know your brand. They haven't tried your product. They might need different incentives, different approach, different flow maybe. Maybe they'll need 3 emails to be convinced to buy from you. Then you have your high value subscribers. And it's for you to define what does that mean for your business. But usually I go by, more than 3 orders in the span of 6 months, depending on what you're selling, if that makes sense. And you have those high value subscribers. They like your brand. They already spend money with you. So they might only need a swift reminder. Hey, you forgot that. Your friends, come back. So you can create a segment for that. And then whatever's left in the middle, so there's people who bought from you twice, maybe, or maybe they bought 3 times, but over a longer period of time, then they can go through another flow. And then through testing, you'll figure out what sort of offer and language resonates the most with those segments. Okay, Rebecca is asking, how do you pick out the high value customers? First of all, we have the lifecycle map in the AI, and maybe customer support team can find a link to that article. So what lifecycle does, like you go into your Omnisend account, you go into your audience, and you'll see your audience breakdown. You'll see that it has red color, gray color, and green color. The green color is your loyalists and your champions. So people who have bought from you many times and who spend lots of money. So you can go into your segments and literally build loyal customers. There's an option for that. And they're subscribers to your email. And voila, you have your loyalists and people who are your high value subscribers as a segment. So I recommend using segments instead of tags, because segments, once you create a segment, then as long as people fit that description, they will go into that segment. You don't need to do any additional refreshes or add-ons. If you add a tag, then it's not dynamic. Once you add it to one person, it sticks. To that contact, it sticks. So I would recommend using segments for it. Thank you so much, Ira, for adding that. I hope that answers the question, Rebecca. If anything, let me know. We'll have some time for the Q&A as well. Alrighty, we'll move on to the final leg, which is abandoned checkout flow. We're going to briefly touch on this because they're very similar with the abandoned cart, except that this is the final leg. People already looked at the product, they added to cart, and they wanted to purchase it. As you can see in the funnel, we're like so close. We just need them to place that order. So we have a template for this automation as well. And this is a technical setup example that we have highlighted the main differences with the abandoned cart. So the frequency here is that skip the contact who has already been in this automation in the last 1 day. And here, I might have controversial opinion, maybe not. I would say don't be afraid to stick with 1 day, because if people already made it this far, there's that high intention to buy from you. And there's a reason why it's not happening, but they're so close. And our goal as email marketers is to get them over to purchase. And I don't see the reason why we should back off, especially during Black Friday. So having that in the last 1 day frequency setup, I'm all for it. And also there's a trigger. When do we send this abandoned checkout email? When do we trigger this automation? And that is when start the workflow after started checkout wasn't updated for 30 minutes. So 30 minutes is great. I think it's not too soon because, again, people had this really high intent of buying. Something happened. Yes, sometimes life happens and they just forget. So that's why we want to bring them in again. And these are key considerations when thinking about your abandoned checkout flows. So most people just need a reminder at this point. But what are the reasons for abandon? So maybe we're going back to those frictions we spoke about at the beginning. Is the process lengthy and confusing for checkout? Is it mandatory to create an account? Maybe your discount code is not working. Maybe that needs to be checked. Or maybe people are waiting for the discount. So you'll get a lot of this, and maybe you are encouraging abandons because people think, I'll just wait an hour and they'll send me a discount code. Same thing with abandoned cart. People tend to do that. So maybe you want to communicate upfront, hey, we don't give out discounts. Or maybe you want to just give them the discount ahead of time if you were planning to do it either way. And lastly, once again, is it easy to reach your customer support? Just think about it. The person is about to purchase, something happens and they don't. So they literally wanted to pay, something didn't happen. So maybe, give them the easy way out. Contact your customer support. Maybe they'll be able to finish the payment with your customer support. Or maybe there are additional hesitations and your customer support can fix it. Again, customer support is also your sales channel. So these are the key considerations when you're thinking about your abandoned checkout flow. And we're going to move into the bonus tips, and let me just check the Q&A. Thank you so much, team, for answering these. Alrighty. Right, so the final leg, the bonus tips here. Always optimize for mobile. That is non-negotiable. Your campaigns, every single automation. I would even start with the design in mobile. So at Omnisend, you can select whether you want to design in desktop format or mobile. I would start with mobile and then just fix it up in desktop. And as I said, using mobile phones tends to increase during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So make sure even your website is optimized for mobile. And then absolutely your checkout, your emails, your automations, everything is optimized for mobile users. And then we also have this little tool that has been recently launched, is use Omnisend Abandonment Rate Calculator to help you prioritize all your tasks, because Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it's not just about emails. There's so many other things happening. So if you're like, okay, this is so much, what are you talking about? So I would do this. Go into our abandonment rate calculator. We'll share it in the chat and the recap email. And go in there and see where you're at. If your result is below 70%, then I would say you have some time to prioritize other tasks to do with your business, other things in email marketing, whatever you have planned. If it's below 70%, you're still good. If that percentage is higher than 70%, and if it's above 80%, then I would say rush to your automations, fix it now, because it will only take you 15 minutes. That's what I can promise you, to fix it up, or maybe launch A/B tests just to see what is exactly that's not working here. So I would look at what has been happening month on month, averaging the past year. Look at the data, and then you'll see where you're at, and then you'll know, okay, maybe I need to prioritize this, or maybe you have some space and time to do other things as well. This is not in your account yet, although I really hope that someday they're going to add this. This is on our website. So there's a link in the chat as well if you want to try this out. Or if you need help with this, again, contact your customer support. They'll be happy to guide you to this and through this as well. So how to adapt your existing abandonment flows for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So this is a little cheat sheet here. Increase urgency. So go into your automations now. This is what I would do. I would go into my automations. I would open my cart abandonment, checkout abandonment, and if I have my product abandonment flows. I would make sure that I increase the urgency there. Can I make the delays shorter? Would it make sense? Okay, let's not go crazy. But maybe abandon cart. First email goes out within an hour. Second email within 12 hours. Third within 24. All right. Then use Black Friday, Cyber Monday specific subject lines. As I said, go into your automation. You'll see the AI symbol there. Click on it and simply prompt it to, hey, give me Black Friday options for the subject line. And again, Omnisend AI has the context of your store, your tone of voice, your past history. So you don't need that extra prompting there. So for Black Friday, I highly recommend you going and updating this, making sure you're capturing people and reminding them, hey, this offer will not last forever, so take advantage of it. And then add SMS reminders for time-sensitive deals. So I would absolutely recommend you adding SMS to your abandoned cart flow. And then for your product abandonment, I would start with push notification at the top. Again, there's a tendency for people to be browsing multiple websites looking for the best offer. And as long as the browser is open, we can send them a push notification saying, hey, come back to this product. We have this Black Friday special discount. Don't forget about it. So for abandoned cart, add SMS. For abandoned product, add push notification at the top and see how that performs as well. And then highlight shipping cutoff times early. So make sure you're communicating to your customers what to expect in terms of shipping. It's a really big hassle because, again, people are shopping for themselves. They're doing their festive shopping as well. There's lots of things happening. So make sure you have that highlighted on your websites. Maybe you want to add it to your abandoned carts as well, just telling people, hey, this offer will not last forever, and we cannot guarantee that the stock will last either. So you might as well, purchase now and don't miss out on it. So yeah, communicate with your customers about the shipping, be helpful and of service. And also, if you have free returns policy, absolutely highlight it as well, because that is often a deciding factor as well, especially for when we're shopping for other people. Maybe you'll have extended return policy. Make sure you highlight it. This is the time to think about all the USPs and add it to your emails. And then the final tip here is, if you heard me talk about all these flows and you're feeling confident about them, then I would encourage you to adapt your abandonment flows for Black Friday by going into your browse abandonment flow. If you don't have it set up, we have a template for it. If you have it set up, maybe you want to adapt it to Black Friday by adding a banner for your gifting campaigns, as we have with this client of Omnisend. Because people would be coming into your website. As long as they're subscriber to your emails, we can use cookies to send them a message saying, hey, we saw you pop by. Maybe you were looking for a perfect gift, and send people to that landing page with all your best sellers or your gifting ideas, gift bundles, and offers. But for now, if I had to emphasize, I would start with abandoned cart, then abandoned checkout, abandoned product, and then if you have time, then I would implement the browse abandonment flow as well. And if you need any help with this, because I know it can be confusing, the product abandonment, the browse abandonment, then contact your customer support and they'll guide you through this and they will help you to make the best decision that they can. Alrighty, so the summary, and then we'll have some time for the Q&A. So expect an increase in abandoned carts and use it to your advantage. Again, if it's your first Black Friday and you never had it before, maybe your business grew, there's a chance that you'll have lots of abandoned carts, lots of abandonment flows happening, and that's good. We can use it to our advantage. We can highlight our USPs, we can send the best offers that we can, and really bring in those people. Then use Omnisend AI to help you craft your emails. Again, it's as simple as you going into your automation and just prompting the AI to help to optimize your subject lines for Black Friday. Then you go into your email, voila, there's Omnisend AI again. You ask it, hey, you see this offer? Optimize this for Black Friday. And that's the offer. And that's it. As I said, to set up your abandoned cart automation, if you don't have it, it will probably take you 15 minutes, and that includes making your coffee and having slow internet. And then set up missing abandonment flows using Omnisend templates. We created those templates using best practices that we observed over the years. So if you don't have time or you don't know where to start, just go into those, browse them, look at them. What's the setup? Does it make a sense to your business? And if you're still unsure, again, contact our customer support. That's why we're here. We're here to help you. And then lastly, optimize for mobile. Again and again, I don't want you to miss out on any revenue because the mobile view is broken. So highly, highly recommend, even if you feel really confident about your abandonment flows, go into them and just make sure they're optimized for mobile. The content, everything is mobile first and then desktop. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. So good to see you. And yes, everyone, we'll talk soon. Bye.